How are you doing? My name is Brian Hughes. I'm here in Custy's Music Shop in Ennis in County Clare. I'm down here today for a day of workshops, so really looking forward to teaching all the local students here in Clare. And I dropped into Custy's to say hello to John, who's been selling my brand new album since last October now, and thanks so much to you all who have bought it. It's been going really well and still on sale here in the shop at the moment, so thanks so much for that.
Okay, Leonard, Brian.
Okay.
What are you going to play?
I'm going to play maybe a hornpipe and a reel. The hornpipe I think is called the Gnivala hornpipe, and the reel is called the rookery. So we'll give it a shot.
Very nice. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
well done, Brian.
Thank you.
You're a very proud and a very prolific whistler, because of all the whistle albums, we think of Mary Bergam with maybe 2 or 3 albums. You have 4
Yeah, that's right.
full whistle albums, maybe with a bit of pipe on some of them.
Yeah, 4 whistle albums, and then we had another album that I produced with Gary O'Brien, the Clear Air, an Airs album, and another suite of music that we composed to remember Shackleton and his famous voice.
All right, remember that
ago.
one.
So yeah, quite a bit of recording done at this
Right,
stage.
okay.
So, yeah, it's great.
And you play pipes as well, obviously.
Play
Uilleann
pipes, John. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that's right.
and
yeah.
there's I suppose Brishan and Dukas. Okay, your grandfather, you told me,
Yeah,
was
that's right.
what kind of a piper?
He was a bagpiper, John. Yeah, many years ago, and I suppose it was really him that introduced me to the music at home in the house. So that would have been my first introduction to traditional Irish music, really, you know. And then from there, it just just grew and grew. Yeah.
No, you're from Kildare, okay, and you wouldn't
Yeah.
immediately associate Kildare as being a kind of a stronghold or even
right.
a historical area of
That's
traditional
right.
Irish music.
And
So
wouldn't
how
be,
did that aberration happen that you...
Yeah, I don't really know. Like I say, I was introduced to the traditional music at home. Obviously, like all kids, was influenced by the local musicians there. You know, local guys that were playing traditional Irish music, and then would have been brought to all the flás, of course.
Sure.
Travelling to the flás and just meeting other traditional musicians, and I suppose the interest just grew and grew and grew. And like all traditional Irish musicians, you become just immersed in the music for your life, really.
Absolutely,
you know?
right.
Yeah, and then I suppose when you go on and you're playing professionally around the country, you just become totally immersed in it over the years.
Sure,
and
okay, and
we are
consumed
today.
by it. Now,
Yeah.
whistle, I suppose, there are very few, like we'd have Michael Russell, we'd have Breed O'Donoghue,
Yeah.
famous whistle players
That's
here,
right, yeah.
one not with us anymore. But
Of course.
sometimes you'd see whistle, and I think it's wrong because it's such a beautiful instrument, okay?
Yeah.
You'd see it as kind of a stepping instrument to maybe a fiddle or a flute or something.
That's right.
But it's great to see people like yourself who've made it their own and who've made it
Yeah.
so special.
Well, you're right, the whistle is very often the first instrument that kids will start on, then they'll progress to fiddle or flute or whatever might take their fancy. For me it was the uilleann pipes, but ultimately the whistle always remained my main instrument.
Right.
And like you say, it's such a beautiful instrument. It's so responsive, it's so reflective. It can be played in so many different mannerisms. For me, it was always my instrument of choice. Absolutely loved the whistle, really, from a very young age.
And of all the keys, like I'd find C's and maybe the lower keys very rich and everything.
Yeah.
Is there any special key that you like? I mean, it's a silly question.
I suppose, like everyone, and even now with my uilleann piping, I'm not playing concert pitch pipes much at all. I'm playing a flat set in the key of C.
Lovely. And who made those pipes?
Donegal up in Dublin, Donegal O'Dwyer.
All right.
Donegal O'Dwyer made the pipes. A lovely set of C pipes. And like yourself, I love the flat keys.
Yeah.
And I suppose maybe I'm getting to that age now, but the older I get, I love playing on the B flats and the A whistle maybe, or the C whistles, and just playing the music that little bit slower maybe.
I know.
And I suppose the flat set in particular leads to that, you know.
Sure.
So.
And do you find that are you playing with a lot of other musicians who have that kind of inkling towards?
Well, I would obviously with the whistle, and I suppose when you're producing commercial albums in particular, people do enjoy the upbeat style of whistle playing, and the style that I would always be renowned for playing.
Sure.
But I do say more and more I'm enjoying just taking a little step back and playing in some of the flat keys, and enjoying some of the music being played in a nice slow mannerism, you know.
The Hagen Kiel Ravish,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yes,
Listen, I know you've got a whistle there, and I know it's an American whistle. Will you tell me about it?
Yeah, this is a John Sint whistle that I'm playing. John actually sent me a set of these whistles a number of years ago for an album that I was producing at the time. So yeah, I was lucky to get my hands on them, and they are lovely whistles. I enjoyed them. Yeah, they work well for me.
Lovely. And I kind of noted too that a lot of whistles are brass. Will you talk to me about brass versus nickel?
Yeah, for me, I always prefer the brass whistle. The brass is just naturally richer in tone.
Yeah.
So
mellower,
yeah, more mellow of sound. So for me, the brass instrument was always my favourite. And also I found with the actual, just the grip of the instrument, the brass always felt far more comfortable in my hands than the nickel finish.
Yeah, more grippier, I suppose.
Yeah, the nickel can be slightly, for me, just slightly smooth and maybe slightly more slippy in my hand. So I always felt for the brass instrument. That's
lovely.
Right, yeah.
Now you're here today to do workshops at the calling of Lourda Rosengrave.
Lourda, yeah.
Lourda, sorry, excuse me, sorry. Lourda.
That's right.
Yeah, and how many students are you going to have today?
Not quite sure yet. I know there could be up to 40 students here for classes, every level from beginner right up to very advanced players. And so really looking forward to working with them for the day now, meeting up with Lourda later on, and we'll have a day of tunes. And finishing off with a recital then this evening for all the people who attend the class.
Fantastic, sounds good. Yeah. You're a full-time fireman. Where do you get work to travel the countries, the highways and byways, and maybe abroad as well? I'm sure you have workshops abroad.
Yeah. It's just a balancing act, really, John. You know, I do a bit of travelling, obviously, with the music, and it's just kind of juggling shifts and stuff like that, you know.
Right.
But, it's worked well for many years now, so yeah, it's good.
Right. I'd say it's a lovely instrument to play in the early hours of the morning in Dunleary when there are no calls being made.
No, it mightn't get a good. We wouldn't have time for that, John. It's far too busy.
Right,
always on the go. So very little time for.
Is there any other musicians on your up in the Dunleary Fire Brigade?
No, I'm afraid not, no.
Okay, listen, I'm thrilled to have you here because we've heard so much about you, listened so much to you, and it's just a pleasure to have you here, especially with whistle. And rather son of his own took.
It's lovely to drop into the shop, John. It really is, and thanks so much for your support over the years. So fair play to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Brian.
Not at all. Okay. Thank you.